Welcome to another episode of the Lux Saigon podcast. This time we are joined by my bro Kalvis to discuss the world-famous book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, not goddamn Napoleon Dynamite. Speaking of dynamite, this book series is going to be hot. This book isn't about finances, it's just teaching you patterns found by Hill when he studied the mindset of the most successful people of his time, including Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, and Mahatma Gandhi. We hope this book can mind-phukkk you into getting rich, so then later you can realize that money didn't actually fill your inner voids, and then your existential crisis gets triggered. Merry Christmas, motherfucker.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Lux Saigon. I'm here with my bro, Kalvis. Kalvis, it's your second time here, dude.
Yeah, this is the second time.
Kalvis is from... Dude, tell us what city you're from.
I'm from Liepaja, Latvia originally. It's like a beach city in a small country in Europe. But we both live in Vietnam now, so...
Wait, how far is your hometown from Riga?
So it's 200 kilometers from Riga, which is the capital city, which is like the main city in Latvia, where most people reside. But yeah.
Nice, nice. Shout out to Riga FC, because there's a Peruvian dude playing there.
Oh yeah, like a football team, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm wearing this shirt because Peru is playing. I guess for Vietnam, it would be Friday morning, like 3 a.m.
What are they playing against? Who are they playing?
Against Bolivia.
Okay.
In Bolivia, so it's like 3,000 meters above sea level.
Oh, in Bolivia?
In Bolivia, yeah.
That's maybe an advantage for the home team.
Yeah, always. But they're still last place, so I hope we crush them.
Yeah, you should, hopefully.
We should, yeah. All right, sweet. So the purpose of this episode, this is a book discussion on Think and Grow Rich. Chapters 1 and 2 specifically, because it's a pretty long book.
Right.
But also, you've read it before, right? Or like you've read parts of it before.
I actually listened to the audiobook when I was maybe like 18, 19. I think I was going to uni and I was just listening it to my audio stuff. So the physical book, I bought it later, I think. But yeah.
So how did it feel
about
to
yourself?
the first time I read it was around the first time you and I started like talking, actually.
Oh, okay.
Around the same time. Because I heard about this book right before I heard of Alan Watts.
I see.
Yeah. How did you feel consuming this book this time compared to like previous times?
I mean, you kind of get a similar idea every time you read it. But yeah. Yeah, how about yourself?
Dude,
I
like
mean, we just discovered a few years ago, but like, yeah.
like
Is it
every
any
time
different or-
every time I read it, it just makes more sense.
Mm-mm.
And I think also because the stuff that I'm studying like in my free time in a way like interconnects with this. So like every time I read this book again, it just makes more and more sense. And it's kind of trippy.
Right. It does make sense, yeah.
There's just so much
Especially when you look back.
evidence.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. But yeah, I just started reading it again, but should read the whole book, I think, and we should discuss about it. For
Yeah,
now, yeah, we're just chapters 1 and 2. So I just already reread these 2 chapters, so I didn't look at other chapters yet.
right,
as of
right.
now. So
And for people
it's been a
listening,
while since
this book, Think and Grow Rich, it's not a book about like financial advice or like how to invest your money. Like it's not about that at all. It's only your mindset
right.
because it's
Yeah, it's like
think
literally,
and grow rich. Yeah, literally think and grow rich.
yes, think and grow rich. That's true. Yes.
Because this matches with other things that like people say like what you think about is what you attract, right?
That's true. Yes. And they
Like
also say be careful what you wish for, right?
right. It's like why would they say that if it wouldn't come true?
Yeah.
Like one example
Okay.
for myself is like when I first started to learn how to drive a motorbike here in Vietnam, I was still pretty scared, right? I was still pretty wobbly and like I would be driving on the street and I would think don't drive too close to the side of the road because you might crash. And immediately I would start moving towards that side of the road. And I'd be like, no, no, no. I said, don't do that. Then turn back. Just turn your body around.
Right. It's like in the book, like first chapter introduction, they talk about success versus failure consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you put your mind on it, like it's gonna like come true. So if you're focusing on success, you're probably gonna get some success in return. But of course, you gotta do some work, make some action, and have a plan, and massive action. But the other thing is, if you're just failure conscious, you're always like, oh, I'm not good enough, or oh, in your case, like when driving motorbike, oh, just don't crash, and then you're going that direction, like
Right.
yeah.
It's like have you heard of is it Simon Sinek? Simon Sinek? I don't know how to say his last name. But this guy that he says like your brain actually cannot understand like someone telling you not to think of something. So if somebody tells you like don't think of a pink elephant, the first thing you do is think of a pink elephant. Yeah.
Yeah, your subconscious mind doesn't understand negatives,
Right,
So
right.
you think something like that, you just for example, don't do this for yourself. You say yourself, maybe you're actually gonna end up doing it, maybe. And
exactly. Yeah. Like imagine someone who's not satisfied with their life right now, and they just think about the stuff they don't want. But they haven't decided what they do want.
Right.
So just all they think about all day is like, man, I don't want this, and they just keep attracting that. It's like stuck in a loop.
Right. Okay.
This.
All right. So maybe you want to talk about the chapter 1. Like,
yeah. Like in a way we already, started. If you think about it, like chapter 1, is basically a summary of the entire book in one chapter. That's why he says in that chapter like it's possible that just by reading this one chapter you already get it.
That's true, but it could also take the whole book in order to understand, or maybe you have to read it maybe a few times.
Yeah, like even like have you heard of Bob Proctor?
Oh yeah, the motivational coach.
Yeah, so I met somebody online that supposedly like was mentored by him, and she said that he read this book every day until he died.
Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just died recently, like 1 year ago, I think. But his stuff is really good. You can still see it on YouTube. Even in shorter formats like TikTok and stuff. He always comes up.
Yeah, he was even interviewed on a podcast by Lois House, I think. School of, I forget what it's called right now.
School of Thought.
Yeah, something like that. I forget. But yeah.
All right.
So okay, maybe let's go over that short story from chapter 1. Like in chapter 1.
Yeah, let's.
There's a guy.
So which the one. Okay, you explain.
Like there's a guy that he wants to work with Thomas Edison, right?
Yeah, Mr. Barnes.
Yeah.
Like this deep burning desire to work with Thomas Edison for some reason.
Yeah, and it was specific, like work with him, not for him.
Exactly.
It's really specific. He wanted to work with him to sell his product, basically, right?
Well, at first he didn't have any specific idea. Like he just had this burning desire. He wants to work with Thomas Edison, like the famous inventor at the time. Invented so many things. He's probably the Elon Musk of today.
Right.
Probably Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, those two people. But yeah, Barnes, he just had that desire, but he had like two things holding him back. One was a lack of money to buy a ticket to go to Thomas Edison's laboratory, and the second one was he doesn't also know Thomas Edison personally. So those two, like quote unquote obstacles, would like hold most people back, but it didn't hold Mr. Barnes back. He still found a way, and as I understand from the book, he just took a cargo train, to get there, and he met him in person. But Thomas Edison wasn't, I think, too impressed with him. No, not necessarily impressed, but he just like the first meeting wasn't necessarily successful. But Thomas Edison actually saw in his eyes, in Barnes' eyes, that he had something different about him. He had that something in his eyes that just make him feel like, okay, maybe I could work with this guy, because he feels like this guy has like purpose and he wants to do something and he means it. He's not like, he's not like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm gonna just do this for a few months. Maybe if I have other options, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that.
yeah,
He had
right.
that in his eyes.
It's like imagine like looking into someone's eyes and you can see like this guy is not gonna stop. He's gonna come knock on my door every day until I talk to him.
Right. Yeah.
So then
That's true.
eventually, and he said that he recognized that look from other people that he'd met before, right?
I think so. I'm not sure about that, but he might have, Yeah.
It's like he said like he knows that when a man is looking at you like that, that this guy's not gonna give up.
Right. Right. Yes. But anyway, he ended up working for Edison at first. So it was
It's
just a
true.
normal like job, like with a nominal wage, so just like a normal thing you could do. But he was still in his mind. He was never like working for him. He was always in his mind working like together with him, like have like partnership. You know what I mean?
Mm,
See, so he always had that thought even when he was working for him. So it only
hmm
took like several months or so, and then like an opportunity came.
hmm
There was like Thomas Edison invention called dictating machine, uh, which was brand new, and Thomas Edison believed in the product, but none of the salesmen that you know Thomas Edison had employed, like none of them have been like specifically like very into that kind of product. They thought it's impossible to sell it, and nobody's really going to be interested. It's like it's just a dictating machine. You know what I
hmm
mean? So but Mr. Barnes, he saw an opportunity and he was like, you know what? I believe in this machine. Mr. Edison believes in the machine, and I believe we can make it work. And he ended up working together with him, and he was selling pretty successfully. And he was at the end, he was selling so successfully, he made like a lot of money. I think they didn't
hmm
mention specifically how much because they didn't know exactly how much, but it was a lot. And also, he ended up working for Edison for 30 years with that specific
hmm
product, I believe. Yeah.
It's like they were millionaires like back in those days. So like where like the dollar was worth even more, right?
Yeah. So the book is written in 1937.
Yeah.
Uh, and also the author, Napoleon Hill, he was interviewing 500 of the most successful people at the time. So all those
Yeah.
principles are similar. That applies also, you know, these days. But yeah, back in like 1937 or whenever the book is written. And by the way, it took like 25 years for Napoleon Hill to write the book, to do the research, do all those things.
hmm
Uh, but yeah, millions of dollars back then would be basically worth tens of millions, if not even $100 million, basically,
Right.
which is pretty insane if you think about it.
Dude, how do you think Barnes stayed so patient while he waited for the opportunity to appear?
Uh, I mean, most people would probably, give up or,
Yeah.
you have a lot of temptations, especially nowadays. You have so many distractions. You
Yeah.
see this person doing this to get rich, this person doing this, and this person's doing this, and you're like all over the place, your mind. So it's really hard to be focused sometimes. But for him, I guess he just didn't give up, and I guess that's the story. The next story in the book, also in the first chapter, about not giving up,
Mm.
about uh, digging gold and not giving up. Remember the
Right.
story?
Yeah. This guy's digging for gold. He even bought the machines, right? He got all the machines.
Yeah, Mr. Darby. His name was Mr. Darby.
Yeah, Mr. Darby. He's
And yeah,
prospecting
he
for
was
gold.
digging for gold back in the gold rush, right? Back
Yeah,
in
yeah.
California, right?
Dude, okay, this is a perfect actually connection to what we were just talking about. Like, how did Barnes stay so patient and how did Darby not have that patience? Why did he give up like that?
Uh,
Like he was almost at the I guess like he didn't know how close he was to the gold, but
right. Yeah.
but
So
he
Mr. Darby, he found like an ore, right? He was
yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're gonna get rich or something, and then he invested in equipment, I think together with his family or something, had this expensive machine, couple $100, maybe even more. And they started digging And at some point, it was just, oh, it wasn't so much gold. It just was a little bit. And in the end, there was nothing really left. So in the end, they gave up. And then they sold the equipment to the junkman. And the junkman then hired like expertise
Yeah.
to identify, like to have more research about that specific spot where they have dug
Yeah.
for the gold and weren't successful. But this experts were saying, they're like, actually, in our calculations, we only have to dig 3 feet deeper in order to reach that goal. And so
Yeah.
the junkman and everybody, they applied that knowledge from people that know this stuff, and then what do you know? 3 feet later, they found a lot of gold. Like it was like massive amounts, like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it was insane. And also, Mr. Darby, also who ended up like quote unquote failing in this situation, like not getting that goal. He learned his lessons, and like later he decided that whatever he's gonna do in life, he's also not gonna quit.
Right.
And later in life, he became really successful selling insurance. He was one of
Mm.
the most successful people selling insurance in America back in the day. Also, like making $1 million annually. I forgot if it's revenue or profit, but either way, it's a lot of money back then. So yeah, he also learned a lesson. Even if you stop digging for that gold and you don't succeed because of that, you still can learn a lesson and
Yeah.
apply in your life in the future and still succeed. So
That's true, man.
incredible.
I keep comparing this Barnes story with oh no, sorry, this is Mr. Darby, right?
Yeah, Mr. Darby about the gold. Yeah.
I keep comparing Darby's gold story with Barnes' Edison story because like Barnes didn't hire anyone to like to consult, right? To like help him know what's the best way to get to Edison. He just felt it's gonna happen for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like
like cliff jumping. You just not think about it too much. Just do it. Just jump in the water, even though it's scary. Maybe.
I'm just wondering how did he have so much faith?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Just
chapter 3 is faith. Maybe they'll say it in chapter 3. I
yeah.
don't know.
Chapter 3 is faith, and then
Yeah.
chapter 2 is desire.
Chapter 2 is desire, bro, and like desire, like this came up in a podcast recently with my friend, the fearless leader, Gerald Butler. He said, well, we were talking about like you got to choose you got to know what you want, right? It's like if you don't like what's happening now, okay, then choose what you want. What do you want? And then he said like yeah, you got to know what you want because that's the only way you're gonna find it.
Right.
So maybe this chapter, desire, is a good reminder for all listeners. Like, what do you want? Not what do you not want? What do you want? And then I would also ask, like, what would you choose if there were no limits? Like, what would you actually choose? And like, and not say some like bullshit like, oh, I would choose to have wings so I can fly. Like, no, like, what do you genuinely want? Like, what would you actually choose?
Right.
And then also,
Yeah.
what is if it's hard to make a decision, then ask yourself, what is blocking you? Like, what is blocking you from deciding that? Because it could be several things. Like I think one major thing that could block you is thinking that, I mean, what I want is not gonna come true anyway, so why even think about it? I think that's one common like resistance, like mental resistance that can block us.
Right. Right. Or maybe you think, oh, if I'm gonna do this, then other people are gonna think this, and
True.
some, it can be many different reasons, but either way, it's good to have, a specific goal. Otherwise, if you're just, floating around the world and don't have specific goals, you're gonna end up working, I guess, for other people who have like dreams and goals,
Yeah.
which is not bad to be an employee and stuff, but I think it's good to have like your own like thing, like your own like heart. I don't know, just listen to your heart, I guess, and just see what the world needs, what you can do, what you're good at, maybe, and then you could set like a specific goal. At least try, you know, and even if you
Hmm.
don't succeed, like you're gonna learn a lot, you know.
That's true.
So
I guess it's like just choose the life that is most meaningful for you. Like maybe someone's life is already meaningful as an employee. Like maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah,
ha
of course.
and then
But that's
they're already happy, they're already fulfilled. So like awesome for them. But if that's not
yeah.
happening for us, then we have to be honest with ourselves. Like, okay, this is not what I actually want. So what do I want?
Right. What's like the long-term goal? And ideally, like 5 years from now, for example, you wake up and what's like a perfect day? And not just
Yeah,
1 or 2 days, but like basically every day. What could be
right.
good? What kind of work I want to do? Where do I want to put my time in? And
Yeah.
but yeah,
Bro, like
but you start, of course, with short-term goals and stuff.
some people will say like, okay, if you want to have your like your ideal life, first choose your ideal day. Like what would your ideal day be like?
Yeah, ideal day. Yeah. So you wake up. What are you gonna do? Like, yeah.
Dude, I accidentally had my ideal day this past Saturday.
Oh wow.
I didn't mean to. It just happened. And it was in this day, like I let myself relax. I mean, I did some work, but I also relaxed and I didn't feel like worried about stuff. I just felt yeah, like really chill. Like
Right.
I took time.
That's
Oh,
the thing.
that was when I was messaging you, like with the voice messages. I was talking to you. Then later I was
Oh yeah, yeah.
talking to Max for a little bit, just like it's like a really relaxed, introspective day. I did do some coaching too, so I did do some work, but
Mm-hmm.
mostly just doing stuff that was like meaningful for me, like listening to my
Right.
favorite music, going taking a walk and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's always good. Connecting with people, connecting with nature.
Yeah,
As much as we can
connection.
here in the city that we live
Right.
in,
Yeah. Yeah.
without something is connecting with nature. But yes.
Yeah. I just realized like how important it is for me, like, yeah, to connect. And one of my favorite ways to connect is just having conversations like this right now. Like this is
That's
super meaningful for me, and like I don't even have to like pay money to do it. Like it's just something fun
right.
for me to do. It could generate money for me actually.
Yeah, it's kind of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
it's good to do this. Yeah.
like this content that we're making right now, this can help people. This is valuable to people that are on a similar journey as us. That
Right. Right.
they're also like interested in manifesting their ideal life. Like this is valuable for them.
Right. Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay, you want to talk about chapter two, desire? So we talked briefly about introduction chapter, and
Hmm.
they named so many examples of people who have succeeded using uh, the things not in a book, but and those people are successful back in the day. It's like 20th century success, right?
Yeah.
But there's of course a lot of examples from nowadays as well. There's a lot of like presidents and like
Yeah.
business people and big companies, small companies, and
Yeah.
just yeah, success
Like
in all kinds of fields.
in the audiobook version that I heard, like it's an updated one for I guess this decade, and
Yeah, exactly.
they mention people like Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
Michael Jordan, Bill
Right.
Gates.
Yes.
Yeah, I would take Kobe too. I
Kobe.
think there's
Yes.
many, Sylvester Stallone. There's many examples.
Yes. Elon Musk, of course.
Elon Musk too. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. He believes everything is possible, basically.
Mm. Yeah. It's unreal to do the things he's done, but it's great. I think it's great for our society and just making quote unquote impossible possible.
Yeah, why do people hate on Elon so much?
There's always people like if you're a strong personality, there's always going to be people that absolutely love you or hate you,
Mm.
which is actually good, you know. So
Like I'm surprised he's hated so much by people on the left because like didn't he make an electric car? Isn't that helpful for the environment? I thought the left was interested in environmental protection and stuff.
yeah, well, I'm not too deep into politics, especially American ones, but
Mm.
uh, I think most people love him though. So even though some people they hate him, but it's just some people hate him maybe because he quote unquote manipulates the crypto market, and some of my friends have complained, oh, like he tweeted this or that.
Chris. Yeah. Yeah, one of my friends like hates Elon because of that specific reason.
uh, no, but like, even back in the day, I was like a few years ago or a decade ago, I was also listening about Elon Musk and stuff, and I was like hoping he's gonna be the richest person in the world, and he kind of became that. But of course, there's people definitely richer than that. Obviously,
Mm.
like Mr. Putin.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't
That's what I'm
care.
saying.
He's having fun doing his
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, of course. No, but like Elon Musk, like when I first heard of him, his net worth was $4 billion, which
Mm.
is a lot, of course. Most people would just retire and just drink mojitos at the beach, but he's just like always has some kind of insane idea that he wants to just just do it, even though like as he says, the probability of success is less than 10%. He's still gonna do it because it's good for humanity, right? So if he's
Yeah,
gonna do it, maybe not succeed, like so what? He's gonna lose a bunch of money. But if he succeeds, the everybody wins, right? Because it's maybe better for electric cars, better for the environment,
true.
or like spaceships, usable spaceships. It's like something unheard of. Like you're
Yeah.
dropping the cost of like flying things to space by so much. It's crazy, and it's gonna drop even more in the future. And who knows? It's
Wait,
just it's always good.
did you hear like the last Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk?
Oh, I did like watch. I think most of it is pretty cool.
Do you remember when he asked him about like, hey, what do you think about the Taliban? And then he's like, "Come, Mr. Taliban, me banana."
I forgot that. No, he was singing something. Yeah. But he's lighthearted, and I kind of like that.
Yo, he was
Even though,
yo, Joe asked him like, yo, so what do you think about Hamas? And then Elon is like,
mm,
oh, I love hummus. Hummus.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah, he had another interview just with Lex Friedman. That's his
Yeah, you're
name.
right.
So it's also a really good one, and that's the first thing they talk about, the wars and stuff, which is very, you know, the things that happen right now. So which is very, up to date.
Hmm.
But yeah, interesting.
Sick, sick.
Yeah,
Well, Elon for sure like specifically knows what he wants.
right. He definitely has that burning desire, and he's willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
And it's kind of in like he consistently would put 100-hour like work weeks to achieve his goals, like maybe
Yeah.
40 hours for 40 hours for SpaceX, and then he bought Twitter, so who knows? Well, now it's X, so maybe 20
Yeah.
hours there or something like that. But ideally, he wants to cut down his schedule to maybe like 80 hours a week, which is still crazy, but for him, it's like a sustainable schedule.
Hmm.
It's kind of cool to have those kind of people, and but yeah,
Like who else can
seeing
you
like
think
this
of? Like who
awesome,
else can you think of? Either someone that you know or someone that you've heard of that has like that usually like specifically knows what they want, has a specific desire.
I mean, there's a lot of people, like quote unquote famous people that but people that you know of, like, it's I think more rare to meet some people that have like a specific desire and they go for it. But it does happen. It does happen. So from my friend circle, definitely, there's been a few people that have specific goals and they go for it and they succeed. Like basically every time if they
Like
set up their mind to,
some people
you know.
say like that most people don't know what they want. But I wonder
Yeah.
why. I wonder why that is though.
Maybe because they also didn't teach us this in school, like
Hmm.
nobody taught us to, yeah. It's just at school they taught us to be like an employee minded, basically.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
you're supposed to fail, you're supposed to do this, come on time, do your homework, be a good kid.
Dude, bro, like when I was in America, that was this summer, right? Yeah, this summer. It feels like it was 5 years ago, but it was this summer. But anyways, I went to my brother's workplace, which is a public school, and they were doing like a student of the month awards. Like, oh yeah, like student of the month for this, student of the month for whatever. It's like, oh, that's really nice. Okay, whatever. And then the next day I went to like a Walmart and I saw on the wall employee of the month, and there was some guy like with a picture, and then I thought like Oh my God, they were funneling us into this. They were getting us
Yeah.
ready for this, dude. We were being funneled to be employees.
Right. But there's nothing wrong with working at Walmart. Like there's some people that are generally happy,
Hmm.
working in a company like that, for example.
But the thing is, like, just my thing is like, why not also empower students who want to be entrepreneurs? Why are we funneling them only to be employees? Like, why not have an entrepreneurship class or something? Like,
Mhm. Right. Well, that's why you go to business school too. But in business school, people that are employed, the professors usually also don't have any of their own business, right? So they're from
Jesus.
like books, like theory, which is maybe not the same as practical knowledge. But I think these days, like a lot of, especially good schools, do have like some professors that know their shit.
Wait, in Latvia, did you guys have a philosophy class in high school?
I don't think we did, but I wish we did, but we didn't. We had some actually good classes, some that you could apply, some good stuff. But obviously, most stuff is just not that necessarily like algebra. I mean, I don't
Mm,
know how necessary is that, but it's still good stuff. Geography was good. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I think it
nice.
really helps,
Yeah.
especially for us travel-minded people.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, there's just not a lot of like life skills when it comes to like
Right.
making and saving money, how to look for jobs, how to like be successful in relationships, I guess. How to
Right. There's no self-awareness
yeah,
class. There's no EQ class.
yeah, yeah, it's rare. Maybe you have a good teacher, so you can have some of that, but usually the curriculums anyway like pretty rigid. So you even if they are good teachers, they don't have time for that.
Dude, I
So
asked, so I met one of my high school teachers last year in America, and I asked her like, why don't they teach us emotional intelligence in school? And she said because even the teachers don't know it, so they can't teach it.
right. Well, teaching is also, a job, and some people, like some teachers, really love it and they love to contribute, but some people just do it for just a paycheck,
True.
which is yeah, not ideal. But yeah,
And you can tell who they are pretty easily.
yeah, usually you can, yeah, yeah. But
True.
anyway, just briefly about the chapter two. Uh, yeah, so I think it started with the story about burning the boats. Have you heard about that
Yeah,
before?
yeah, yeah. It's a good story. Dude, can you like tell it real
So
quick?
I actually read somewhere that it wasn't real, but
So they sail across the
so
ocean
he didn't
to fight a war, right?
fight the war. And when they reach the destination, they burn the ships
Yeah.
in order to fight. They have like no way to go back to. There's no, yeah, what if? Just you just
Yeah,
have to go for it. There's
you,
no choice.
you can't
Either
escape. So
you
now
win
you
or you
have to,
die.
yeah, you have to win the war or you die.
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, but this is
So yeah, that's how the
okay.
chapter started.
This connects to Barnes because he didn't have a plan B.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
But
there's
he wanted to work with Mr. Edison. Yeah.
dude, this reminds me that okay, so like my specific goal is that by June of 2024, I'll be making 1,000 USD from life coaching, right?
Yeah.
And then I started to make a plan B in my mind, like, okay, but maybe just in case it doesn't work out, I can still work at this school full time. And then right when I started saying that, I could feel my desire for my goal just dying. The
Interesting.
the desire for my to like my actual goal to make money from coaching, it just started to fade and fade and fade and fade.
Yeah.
So then I was, oh, maybe the plan B is not a good idea. I
Right,
think
right,
I just gotta burn those boats, dude.
right. You
And
just
just
have to have desire, just go for it with like an obsession, just like Mr. Barnes, just keeping with his desire, being like obsessed with it, and yeah, not really giving up. But yeah, it's good you have like an exact time frame you have in your mind.
yeah.
So in
And
the
it
book, they
feels
also talk
doable.
about it does, definitely, definitely. I think
Yeah.
it's very doable in this economy. It's a big market. yeah, you could definitely provide value. And yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, bro. I believe it. And also I heard that coaching is like the second fastest growing industry in the world right now.
Yeah, I heard something like that. It's still growing like maybe 15-20% a year, which is insane.
Yeah. It's a good wave to ride then.
Yeah,
And
definitely. You have to find like right now, and then more people are coming, joining internet as well. Like,
yeah.
people didn't have access to internet are joining.
Dude, and I feel
It's all interesting.
there's many fake coaches too. And actually I feel like that's a good thing because the more fake coaches there are, the easier it will be to spot the real ones.
Mm, yeah, that's for sure.
So it's all good.
Right, right. But yeah, in the book, so chapter 2, desire, they also talk about how to set like a specific goal, like how do
Mm,
you have to have like a plan. The first step is you have to decide exact amount of money you want, you
right.
know, how much, like, is it this much?
All
Number
right.
two, what are you going to give in return for that amount of
Right.
riches? What are
Right.
you going to give in return? Uh, Number three, definite date.
Yeah.
What's the definite date? Well, when you're gonna uh think you're gonna get that money? Number four, uh, you have a plan, definite plan. So plan it out. Okay. So exact amount, what you give in return, definite date, then plan. And then number five is write out a statement about all these things, like how much you want to acquire, name time limit, what you're willing to do in return, and a clear plan how to
Yeah.
get there. And then number six is reading that statement every day, twice a day, once in the morning,
Yeah.
once in the evening.
Yeah.
So have you
And
started doing that right
yeah,
away?
I did. I highly
You did.
recommend to get like a big whiteboard
Mm.
and to put your that information on the whiteboard so you can see it every day. It's like so on my whiteboard I have my goal, I have the date, and I have my goal for the 6 month plan, and I
Mm.
have the actual 1 month plan written out so I can see what it is. And
Oh, it's nice.
and whenever I do something that I said I would do in my 1 month plan, I'll give myself a tick so I can see what I already did.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you're kind of like collecting wins, even if they're small.
Exactly. Exactly.
It shows you.
And your brain accepts them as like as a reward, as a dopamine hit
Right.
because you've labeled them as rewards, your brain accepts it as a reward.
That's awesome. But yeah, goals like that definitely work. Uh, I have to admit I haven't really written out my goal yet lately. I haven't really written my goals as much, but honestly, like when I look back in my life, when I wrote down my goals, like what I do want specifically, like I do tend to achieve it more often than when I don't write it down.
That's true.
And it was also written in one of Brian Tracy's book, No Excuses, that people that write down their goals are like basically 1,000 times, or I forgot how many times more likely to achieve the goal. You
Mm.
know, the people that don't write out their goals, they're like 3% likely to achieve it, their goal. And but if you write it down, you're like a lot um,
Dude,
probable to succeed.
now that you said that, even Bruce Lee did this. Like Bruce Lee read Think and Grow Rich, and he has a written statement where he says, by this date, I will receive this much money for providing this service. Like he wrote it out in the same format as in Think and Grow Rich.
Hmm. Interesting. Did you read the book?
He must have. Also, he was a philosophy major in university.
Hmm. Right.
I think also Jim Carrey also did this. He chose the date, he chose the money.
Yeah, Jim Carrey had that. That was the first person that came in mind. Yeah, he had
Yeah,
like, you remember the amount?
right. The amount and the date.
Yeah, so it was $10 million.
Yeah,
And yeah, so it felt maybe unreal at the time, but yeah.
there's just so many examples of this happening to other people. But like our brain sometimes be like, oh, but maybe not for me, like or maybe yes for you. Yo, so we have
Mm.
about 1 minute left. Any
One
final
minute.
thoughts?
Well, yeah. So burning desire. Is that what you want exactly? Oh, and also our brains are like magnetized by our dominant thoughts. So it's like magnet. We attract something that we think about, people, situations. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. And I was like, in my own life, I'm like, okay, maybe sometimes I think too much. So yeah, what I learned is our brains become magnetized with the dominant thoughts that we have. You know, it's like a magnet that attracts us, forces people or situations that can happen to us. So whatever quote unquote frequency you have in your head, you're gonna attract that. So in my own life, I learned that, yeah, I do have a lot of these thoughts or that thought, but like honestly, I should be careful what I think about, because it does manifest in real time, real life as well, and you attract the people and things that maybe you don't ideally want for yourself, actually, because maybe you want to attract more positive vibrations and more constructive things in your life, rather than things that are not that great maybe for you, but you just think about it too much. So our thoughts are really important. It's Think and Grow Rich. So yeah, thank you so much for this episode. I'll see you next time. Peace.